All right, so in a week where police are in the news all over the place, even the Paw Patrol couldn't escape unscathed in all of this. That's right. So of all of the things that these protests could bring your news agency to talk about, right? Well, the names of individuals who've been killed by police brutality, other abuse that's going on by police, the overreach of the police with the protesters, and what Fox News comes up with is the Paw Patrol. All right. Let's get to our actual story. So in Seattle, protesters have basically taken over a small part of the city that is referred to as CHAZ, the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. So basically, protests, there's differing stories about what happened during the protests. It appears that police were having objects thrown at them. They were ordered to pull back, at which point protesters basically inhabited the East Precinct, and the streets in that area are blocked off. They're currently being held about 6 blocks. And there's a bit of a standoff here between protesters and police. Here we see the Seattle Police Department East Precinct was changed into the Seattle People Department East Precinct. So, definitely trying to find ways to get their message out. So right now, these blocks are being inhabited by protesters, right? And so the city is coming out and saying, well, what if we have to get in there? What if there's an emergency? What if we need to get an ambulance in there? What if there's a fire? We need to get a fire truck in there. And the police and the protesters are actually having a peaceful dialogue, which is nice, right? This is not a situation where protesters have taken over part of the city and shots are being exchanged. In fact, all the video you see tends to be pretty mellow of the people that are in the occupied territory. So we'll see in a minute the exchange between the police and the protesters. Before we got there, right, before we even get to that part of the story, of course, you knew it had to happen. Donald Trump was going to say something about it. And here we go. So we knew that Donald Trump would have to tweet about it because, of course, he has to, right? He has to tweet about everything. So anarchists just took over Seattle, and the liberal Democrat governor just said he knows nothing about it. Radical left Governor Jay Inslee and the mayor of Seattle are being taunted and played at a level that our great country has never seen before. Take back your city now. If you don't do it, I will. This is not a game. These ugly anarchists must be stopped immediately. Move fast. So again, Donald Trump threatening some type of military activity if the states don't get their act together, right? So basically belittling and attacking the governors of this state rather than trying to be assist. Just throw out threats. Just threaten them and try to get what you want that way, because that always works so well. And the mayor tweeted back, "Make us all safe, go back to your bunker," which is actually awesome because you know this thing with the bunker is exactly the type of situation that Trump is going to be very sensitive about, right? Remember during the election when people making fun of his hands and he couldn't help but bring it up, right? Usually if someone makes fun of something, it doesn't really bother you, just kind of let it go, nothing really happens, but he had to fight back and actually talk about his hands. It's the same thing here. He's obviously very sensitive about that bunker situation. She's calling him out on it. Kind of hilarious. Okay, so here we're going to see the chief of police meeting with protesters to try to figure out how can we fix this standoff? How can we get things working again?
Behind me is 13th and Pine, where you see the gates. And over here it says East Side is ours. Someone's spray painted "Together We Stand." Today, the police chief came here hoping to find some common ground.
The message is people over property. And my message is honestly a message of eradication of complacency.
Protesters pushing for change met with a police chief focused on the path forward.
Figure out how we can move forward, how we can keep people safe, first of all, but also, how we might find some resolutions.
Yesterday, police removed their barricades, but protesters now have their own fences at the East Precinct, where the words "cop-free zone" and "defund police" are spray painted nearby.
I want to know, what was the initial objective to stopping our march in the first place?
Protesters have questions about the police use of tear gas.
For moving forward, if we do decide to have another march or another big congregation of thousands of people, will we be met with the same type of offensive tactics and the same, or are you guys learned and chilling now?
Or pulled back. The street was open. The videos, the cameras, y'all were there.
So
next
time that won't be.
No, the only time we react in any kind of way is if the officers are taking rocks and bottles, and we removed them. We had 25 people injured. I don't want officers injured. I don't want the community injured.
This chief says she wants to meet peace with peace.
When I look at you, I see my own family members right in your face, right? So it is time for us to have dialogue and have change, and I'm all for it. I just can't be for any kind of violent acts.
All right, so this is obviously still developing, and we'll see where this goes. But the good thing is no one's shooting at each other. No one's hurting each other. You saw them talking to each other. The police chief was talking to one of the protesters, which apparently has taken lead and speaking for most of the protesters. And they were speaking, right? They were hearing one another. They were working it out. So we'll see where this goes. Kind of seems like a thing that probably isn't going to last terribly long, but we'll have to see what happens. So good luck to the Seattle area trying to figure this out. Watch out, Paw Patrol. Hopefully you can survive this issue as well. And thanks for checking out the video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can get all the new content as it becomes available. And we will see you in the future.